next session on the execution stage. So for this session, we have the pleasure to host Simon, and we will discuss about lock and smart lock and about light. So that is a pretty interesting thing. Your keys may disappear, at least on the B2B side. And so please, Simon, tell us more about what you do with Havr.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. So what we do at Havr is that we've developed a smart lock, and like you said, it's not made for an individual. It's a B2B smart lock. It's a complete solution, hardware and software, that enables you to unlock any doors using your smartphone, and it will do by sending a unique light signal through your smartphone flashlight to the lock. And that's why we're using Lifi technology to secure the communication between the smartphone and the lock. And then all the data created by the lock goes to your cloud safely with Sigfox. So the product is already manufactured, and it is sold to people in industries such as telecoms, energy, transport, real estate, people who manage critical infrastructures, and people working from the facility management and business operation.
So I think for me it was very interesting what he's doing, and I was curious to know, like, what is a sweet spot? Like, how many locks do I need to manage to make sense to start to implement such solutions?
So with some customer experience feedbacks, it's good to start with 25 locks. It gives you good data points, since on average we've got 40 users per lock. So it's an average of 1,000 users across just 25 locks. So that's a lot of insight about how your company is running, how the logistic of your company is doing, and it will completely reshape the way you're doing business.
So that is very surprising, right? 40 people on average have access to one lock on the B2B side. But can you split that 40? Is it like only the employees? Which part represent the suppliers? Like, how many different type of people can we find across those 40?
So on average, you only have 10 people from the company and 30 people from external out forces.
For the industry you look at, right? The
Yes.
telecom and a few other. So can you now tell us more about the software components, like all that work in terms of how do you give access, how do you manage all those kind of things?
Sure. So in the software side, you will be able to visualize all your locks on the dashboard, on the manager you've got there on your laptop. And then from this manager or your smartphone, you'll be able to share access by email or SMS to whoever you want for time-limited restriction. Let's say for today until tomorrow.
So when you look at the lock, something I think I was wondering a lot is, how much does it cost to set up that? Because when you get a problem with your lock and you call the locksmith, he may already charge you 250 euro. So your solution looks great, but how much it costs and how difficult is it to set up that?
So I'll start with the setup. The good thing is that this kind of locks, this is a standard, so it takes less than a minute to be installed. So you just pull the existing cylinder, removing one screw, and then you push this one, and it's in setup. So the cost is, as a one-off, 500 euro, and it gives you like good return on investment. We'll talk about some customers' feedback.
So basically, the person who can set up that is everyone. You don't need to have a locksmith. Everyone can do it.
If you know how to use just the screwdrivers and remove a screw, you can do it yourself.
Okay, easy. But the thing you mentioned is quite interesting also is a light system, right? So we are used to smart lock with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi system or different way to communicate. But can you tell us, and also maybe show us on the light, how that looks like and how does that work?
Sure. So on the light system, I'll just unlock my hub. That's it. So it will be your smartphone flashlight that will blink like a Morse code and set the unique light sequence like this, as you can see. And every time it's a unique, it changes. And that's the way it works. And it's very interesting to use an optical solution rather than a radio frequency one, because it avoids all attacks, tip man in the middle or something else.
So it's as secure as a token I use for my bank. Will always generate a new code, right? So
Yes, it is.
We can really copy that. So maybe can you share with us one or two specific use case of company you're using your technology and how they find value in it?
Sure. I'll start with the energy industry, with EDF. It's the French electricity provider. So we'll help them to manage power stations across France. And what happens is that they have like 15 external companies working on these stations for maintenance or something else. And each time an external company needs to access it, they send someone from their place to open, wait, and come back. So since they installed the Bright Lock, they already have a return on investment under 3 months, which is amazing. And now they're able to understand exactly how their power stations are used. And on the other side, I'll take an example with the real estate company. Every time they get a new property to sell, they have to cut keys. And it costs them on average 1,000 euro because you make keys for employees, but also for all the agencies you will sell, in which you will sell the lock, the house. So it costs a lot of money. And the good thing with that is that it is so simple to install that they just get locks, and every time they get a new house, they install it, make the sales, and then get it back and replace the existing cylinder. It's very, very interesting.
So speaking of that, you have different type of business model. So you already mentioned the fact we can buy it.
Sure.
But what are the other options?
So you can buy the lock, but in the case of the real estate, I just said, it's good. We also allow you to loan the lock. So you're only using the value proposition of the lock and not the lock itself, which is more 21st century model.
So the previous discussion would discuss about insurance, but can you see different application, different usage of the future of that smart lock?
Oh yes, I like your question. Thank you. What we're doing today with the lock is just the beginning. I mean, I don't care about the lock, and I'm not proud about this, but we're just scratching the surface of what is possible, because what we're talking about this and the technology is called smart access. And smart access is the key to so many things, because people are talking about smart cities, smart mobility, smart service economy, as La Parisienne said. And to do this, you need something at the very bottom, which is called smart access. It's more than just an industry. It's a societal phenomenon that is just taking shape.
So what could be some interesting example of smart access of cars, for example, we can expect in the future?
As you said, we're entering into a sharing economy. So cars, but we also have goods, like, I don't know, it can be suitcases, those kind of things. Or even when you're using your mobile phone to rent a scooter or something else, you need to do access right management. And that's what we're talking about here. This technology, the Lifi technology in the IoT, is super powerful for the smart access industry, because it gives you a very secure way to transfer information from a smartphone to a device.
And we discussed also about license management, right? And you mentioned an interesting case of a company that to get access to some of their products, they were also using your solution.
Yes. So, for example, let's say instead of having your driving license, we have like on your mobile phone an accreditation for cars, boat, or scooter. And every time you will send the code to, let's say, your car, if you do not have your license anymore, nothing will start. And that's really interesting, because that's what the access right management is about.
So we can put the driving license, your insurance. So if I don't have the two up to date, maybe I'm not able to drive my car.
We can even go a bit deeper, because what we can do is that this light signal can be your identity card. It can be who you are in a very, very secure way.
And I think also something we discussed before was also, even if you can think about your car, not only the access as a driver, but just access to the tank. So basically you can get maybe even if e-commerce company gain access during a time frame and deliver goods to your car if you're in a CBD at that time.
Yeah, that's what I call the service economy. Because let's say you buy it for your home, even if it's not made exactly for, it will be very interesting, because companies will be able to deliver you food, goods, services. Maybe when you'll be traveling, someone will be taking care of your pets. That's what the service economy is about. taking care of you and not of the goods.
And on a B2B side, you also mentioned a specific example before about giving access on the steel company to just like some very specific products. Do you see more usage like that on the B2B of having access to some of their assets?
Yeah, I mean, it's a large question because all those big companies, they've got so many assets to manage and tracks. And the transport companies, they're tracking where goods are moving. But it's also interesting to see if this good, if you're taking like a container on a bot, if this good can be opened by the right person in the right time. That's what we're doing here.
So you mentioned as a different industry you focus on, like the energy, the telecom, right? The real estate for those companies like ORP. Do you consider also the hospitality business? I think because often when we talk also about smart lock, people think a lot about hotel or maybe Airbnb. Are you considering those ones too, or?
We've met other. I mean, we've met those markets. We give a deep think about this, and the value proposition, the security proposition of our solution is interesting, but this product becomes a nice to have product for those fields rather than in the industry sectors. This product is a must to have. That's the difference. That's why we're not targeting the hospitality or Airbnb. That's why we're targeting critical infrastructure management, because this product becomes a must have.
So can you share a bit maybe in terms of region, which country now you have started to have your product being deployed?
So the product, we already sold like a couple of thousand units across France, Germany, and Spain. And we're targeting Europe.
Asia soon, or?
I just had some discussion during this event about Asia, and we're looking for partners to help us to reach this region.
So partners such as distributors, or?
The partners such as distributors to the end user.
Okay. We can also take some questions from the audience if anyone have any question about smart locks. So yes, we have one person just here.
Hi.
Hi.
What happens when the device failed? What's plan B?
Okay, the device remains 100% mechanical, so you will always be able to use a key if it doesn't work anymore. If the electronic or anything else is like dead, you can still use a key, and from the inside it remains also mechanical, so you can also use it.
Any additional question from the audience on the light system, on the software, or maybe you can share maybe a little bit more about I think the pricing you mentioned, it was €500 for a one-time purchase.
Yes.
But you get also the renting process.
Oh, €15 per month per lock.
Yeah, and that is a kind of a lifetime. So if any trouble happen,
We replace immediately the lock. I mean, immediately, within a couple of hours, but we replace the lock. We take care of everything. So you just focus on the value proposition and not on the good.
any additional question on locks, or I guess everyone use on a daily basis? If you want to know more, I think Simon is here. If people have questions, where they can find you? Are you?
Just here behind you, D2, just in the corner here.
Okay, so I think we'll end up now.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Simon. And just go to D2, right?
Yeah.
D2 to more question about smart lock. Thank you.
Thank you.